Good evening, good evening. How are
This
you?
meeting is being recorded.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I think we all just kind of like was away from our microphones though.
Yes, ma'am. What's up? Excuse me, my cat.
Yolanda, your Instagram name is Yo Lies Lost, right?
Yoli. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. That makes so much more sense. Girl, I feel slow. Okay, I'm about to mute up now.
Excuse me, y'all. It's been one day. I literally just came in the house less than 10 minutes ago. It's been one of those days. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling?
So far, so good.
Have you read up any more on the book?
Mm-hmm. I finished chapter 2.
So how are you feeling so far?
Pretty good. My stuff from Amazon comes tomorrow for my altar.
Okay. So I'm gonna give it a few more minutes, see if anybody else come in. We can start around 8:45. How's that? Just a few more minutes, guys. There's some people having an issue getting in with the link.
Lay down.
So, any of you have any issues?
I didn't. No, I didn't.
Okay. So you said so far you've read the chapter all the way up to chapter 2.
Yes.
Have you started on your altar?
I get to start. Well, I have the crystal bowl. I'm on mute.
Oh. Well, I hear you now.
I have the crystal bowl and the and my feathers and wooden bowl and all that comes tomorrow. I already have the essential oils and everything. I already kept those. And the crystals.
I got you. So just a few more minutes. We're gonna give it about 5 more minutes because it's saying that a couple of people are having, I guess, an issue getting in. Was this the same link you had from last time?
I used the one from the Facebook page. You know how you say you're going and it pops up invitation? I use that.
Okay. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Okay, let's see. All right. So I'm gonna share my screen. So which one are we on? Do you remember we were on chapter 1, right? That's right. We're on Gateway 0 today. I remember.
We're on chapter 1?
Gateway 0. We're at the very beginning, the start.
Stop. Stop.
See if I can find the book.
Stop.
Okay, so what I'm doing now, I'm looking I'm looking for the book. See if I can find it. This is the curriculum manual. So there's a few people from last week who had to work this week and couldn't make it. But there's other ones trying to, that they're saying they're having an issue getting in. When that link is posted, 1 second, and then we can start. So you have cats and dogs?
Yeah. And they're both fighting for my attention right now. And my daughter had a ferret. She passed away on Friday.
Mm.
And now she has 2 bunnies. Well, my oldest girl, breeds bunnies. And so she brought one over for my daughter.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and start. I sent the link again, so we're going to see what happens. Good evening. We're going to have to just wing it. It's two of us. Well, there we go. Somebody else coming in now. Good evening.
Hey, I'm Supreme. I'm here, but I'm at work, so I'm in the chat.
Okay, understood. So we're supposed to be reading this? I'm gonna have to find this. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Because we're supposed to be reading, and there's not too many people here today. So what do y'all want to do? Y'all want to keep going, or how you doing, Shannon?
Hey, I'm sorry. I don't know what was going on. That was really weird. I'm here.
It's okay. It's one of those days. It seems like it's technical difficulties all around right now.
The devil is a lie.
All day. So I'm
How many
now
people are now?
it's 5 of us total. So it's just one of those days. But I know that Moon, she's at work, but she's on here too.
Yeah, I'm at work too. I got about 15 more minutes left. But I'm here.
And I said that's always a blessing. I appreciate you. I definitely do. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am.
So what I'm looking for now is the book so that I can pull it up and we can begin reading from the book and get some things done. Oh, here's the question. Did anybody finish their altar?
I haven't finished mine yet. I didn't see that. I didn't know that was like next. And I didn't see that as I was trying to go according to what the book was saying. So I didn't see that in this chapter. So I didn't start it.
Did you get your materials for it?
I have my white cloth. I got my I do have the bowl. I have the crystals. I have a feather, but I'm gonna get a new one because my cats messed with my feather. So I'll be getting that. And I think there's some more things I need to order So I know I need to get the rest of those things, and then I have to get the frankincense and the myrrh. So I just got basic stuff, but I already had some things from my altar at my old house, but I want to do a whole new one with this new cycle. So I'll be getting those things this week.
No.
Understood. I'm right along with you, in all honesty. I have altered, but I had known specifically for this project. So that's really what I'm working on now, is getting everything for my altar. No, I guess we wouldn't have everything. It's unnecessary to have everything at one time, but I was seeing if anybody already had everything.
Yeah.
And how they're going as far as placing it, putting their altar up and everything. Okay, let me screen share.
I have a question. I wasn't here last week when you all did the first class, so the altar, I already have one that I've been created. So I'm supposed to do a new one, or can I go with what I already have?
In the book Queen Afua, I believe this altar is a self, like what I call it, a self-love altar, but it's I believe is it your picture or is it an ancestor picture? I have to remember. But if you already have an altar, then we can keep going, because this is it's been a while since I've read that part of the book. So we all going through, this is a journey, we all going through this journey together, and my memory from I remember exactly what it's from, but I can definitely let you know after, or we might even get to it as we are reading along.
Okay, thanks.
I think it's a sacred woman off altar. So she has, I think it's a picture of yourself. She does have a picture of an ancestor too as well. And then it's like, other things that she has as well, that she listed in chapter 2.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that it could be the picture of yourself, like it's an altar to yourself instead of it being an ancestor altar. But I was, to say it was definitively, I would have to remember. So everybody have a book?
Yeah.
Okay, because we are going to have to read versus me sharing my screen, because the host who's recording, she would have to put it up on the screen. So the first thing we're gonna do, I have my for those who aren't here last week, this was donated from my spiritual godmother. This is our candle. This is our sacral chakra, our wound healing candle, and as well as the crystals for as I said, for wound healing. We are all divine feminines, and this is our protection and our blessing for us coming together. So for those who haven't been here yet last week, so I want to start off with a prayer, and then we can continue from where we were last week. Now, where's the candle? Where's the light? It's one of those days. I'm telling you, it is one of those days.
It's the time change. It's the time change. I'm telling you.
And the moon,
it was
full moon like 2 days. Huh?
And it's been cold for like the past 2 days. Today was like 50 where we're at. So that's like a 30 degree change. And then today was like the end of day. It was daylight savings. Like I usually get up at 6 every morning anyway. And today I didn't wake up. I woke up and it was 7, but it was still dark outside. So I was like completely weirded out. My brother called me. He was just like, get up, what you doing? I was just like, I'm still asleep. I said, I feel like I'm in a simulation or something. I said, I don't know where I'm at. Like I'm usually expecting the sun to be out around 7 o'clock right now. And it's still dark. So it was just a really weird vibe today. I'm telling you, it's something going on in the ethers, but they say as above, so below. So it's something going on.
Something going on, and we seeing signs of it. Because if it was just 8, it was literally just about, I'm in Maryland. It was about what, high 70s, almost 80, and then it snowed like the next day.
Mm-hmm.
It got so cold, the temperature dropped a good 25.
Yeah.
And now it's still cold. So whatever. And the moon, like I said, there's a full moon in like 2 days. What is the 14th or the 15th?
That makes sense. That makes sense too. It is a full moon coming up. Wow. Time moving by so fast. It's moving by too fast. I can't keep up. I cannot keep up.
All right, y'all. So you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, sacred spirit, hold us near, close to your bosom. Protect us from all harm and fear beneath the stones of life. Direct our steps in the light, in the right way as we journey through this vision. Sacred Spirit, surround us in your most absolute perfect light. Anoint us in your sacred purity. Give us peace and divine insight. Bless us, truly bless us as we share this sacred life. Teach us, Sacred Spirit, to be in tune with the universe. Teach us how to heal with the inner and outer elements of air, fire, water, and earth. I share.
Right.
I'm gonna like this while we're here. So does anybody know what page we on from last time? You know, you have the page in the book.
Chapter 1.
Yeah, we're in chapter 1 now.
So I found the lighter in the book. I put it in between the pages of the book. When I say that it's one of those days, that's really what I mean. It's one of those days. Okay, so we on chapter 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so who would like to read first?
Okay, I gotta take my glasses off. I can read. Now these names is something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give it my best.
So, all right, so this is what I would say. This is so in all to keep things flowing and everybody, just to keep things flowing in a certain way. Let's try to keep it at let's try to stop at the like the dark bullet. So right now, you're about to start, and the next one is the basics of Kinetic society. So we'll stop there and then we'll go into the discussion then.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty. They say our way is dead. They say our way is no more, that the Nile Valley legacy all ended thousands of years ago, but we are here and we remember. My people are the elders of the earth. They are the originators of what is commonly known as Greek philosophy, which is actually the ancient Kemetic Egyptian way of life. Kemet refers to the original Nubian Maashian culture of the Hapi, Nile Valley Africans. The spelling of Africa literally means flesh, Af, and soul, Ka, of the hidden sun, Ra. The more common spelling Africa comes from the Arabic word firk or frick, which means separate, divide, and or conquer. Like Africa, Egypt is a name imposed on ancient Kemet by foreigners. The Kemetic people are the spiritual heads, teachers, motivators, and guides of the planet ordained by Neter, the one most high creator, creatress. The people of ancient Kemet had much to share thousands of years ago. We, descendants, perpetrators of that sacred tradition, have much to share today. The Hotep peaceful ways and original holistic nature of the Kemetic people is a model that, if properly adapted, has the ability to save planet Earth from mass destruction. It is this path, this way of life that has so deeply inspired me and become the root of my life's work. The ancient ways of the Kemetic people can teach all people how to become truly humane again. The Kemetic masters came to this realization by purifying their lives. Today, as we purify our own lives, we grow closer to our divine selves. And this transformation can bring us to a state of constant bliss, peace, and wellness. Sacred Women is the entranceway I offer into this state of enlightenment. Following the path of body, mind, spirit, purification can bring us to the place where we will be touched by and united with the great, great, great grandparents of the earth, the ancestors. My ancestors learned how to combine and unite the elements of earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. And they continue to teach us their methods through the carvings and inscriptions on their temple walls. They bring us the gift of the laying on of hands through the effort of Isis, and her sister Nebet, Nephthys, to restore life to the broken body of Ashar, Osiris, who became a symbol of resurrection for all humanity. Contrary to the belief and ignorance, my ancestors, the Black people of the Black land of the Nile Valley, did not worship many gods and goddesses. My African ancestors viewed Neter, the creator, creatress, as the undifferentiated one, all divine, from which all life emanates. However, Neter has many wondrous divine attributes, and all of these manifestations, the Neteru, are aspects of its wholeness. Consider for a moment such divine emanations as Mayat, the aspect of balance, harmony, truth, law, righteousness, and reciprocity. Heteru, Hathor, the aspect of divine love and beauty, and Nefer Atum, the sacred lotus, representing the highest ascension and unlimited potential. Haru, Horus, the falcon, represents victory, the aspect that we can call upon to fly above all obstacles. Nahuti, Thoth, embodies the aspect of divine intelligence, and so on. The Kemites, my ancestors, believed that within the heavenly realm, the presence of the divine is reflected in the balanced worship of Neter, the mother, father, creator, creatress, where both aspect is one as given equal respect. By contrast, most present day Western religions recognize only the male priest and worship only a male god in a heaven of male angels. In the ancient African spiritual tradition, there is deep respect for the mother creatress and the female priestess, as well as for the father creator and the male priest. The Kemites lived the philosophy of Mayat, harmony, and had respect, reverence, and honor for Neter, and its divine manifestation in man and woman in all nature. They saw nature and their environment as an expression of Neter and an inspiration for self-healing, from which my heal thyself philosophy comes. The Kemites used the element of water for purification rites through baptism, fasting, and enemas. They used the element of earth in the form of healing foods, herbology, and aromatherapy to purify and rejuvenate the body temple. My ancestors used the element of air, breath, through what was called Ari Ankha, now known as Hatha Yoga. The various sacred movements and poses that have been depicted on the walls of temples and pyramids were carved by my people thousands of years ago. Their records have outlasted man-made misinterpretations and outlived the libraries burned by foreigners who could not comprehend or appreciate the spiritual heights and advancements of my people. To be recharged and purified, my people used the elements of fire in rituals based on the powerful rays of Aten Ra, the sun, which blazed over the vast desert of Kemet. They used fire foods to cleanse, such as radishes, leeks, onions, and cayenne. They burned frankincense and myrrh, cinnamon and other spices, herbs, and essential oils used them to smudge their bodies to destroy negative spiritual entities attracted to the body temple. Today, we only need to look to the source of this knowledge as represented by the 42 laws of Mayat. Do you want me to read those, the 42 laws of Mayat?
You can refinish this.
Okay. The 42 laws of Mayat. The moral and ethical guide is the legacy left to us by our ancient Nubian Kemetic ancestors. Egyptologists refer to them as the negative confessions or the declarations of innocence. The interpretations below came through Haru Ankh-Ra Samaj, chief priest of the Shrine of Ptah in New York City. Unlike the 10 Commandments, which came from an exterior power, the 42 laws of Mayat inspire personal responsibility and accountability to one's own indwelling divinity. We recite them at sunrise and sunset. In the morning, we say, I will not. In the evening, we say, I have not. In this way, we conduct a daily moral inventory, for as Kemites, every day is Judgment Day. Hetepu, peace and blessings. 42 laws of Mayat. To recite at sunrise to sunset, sunrise to set the tone for the day. I will not do wrong. I will not steal. I will not act with violence. I will not kill. I will not act unjustly. I will not cause pain. I will not waste food. I will not lie. I will not desecrate holy places. I will not speak evil. I will not abuse my sexuality. I will not cause the shedding of tears. I will not sow seeds of regret. I will not be an aggressor. I will not act guilefully. I will not lay waste to the plowed land. I will not bear false witness. I will not set my mouth in motion against any person. I will not be wrathful and angry except for just cause. I will not copulate with a man's wife. I will not copulate with a woman's husband. I will not pollute myself. I will not cause terror. I will not pollute the earth. I will not speak in anger. I will not turn from I will not turn from words of right and truth. I will not utter curses. I will not initiate a quarrel. I will not be excitable or contentious. I will not prejudge. I will not be an eavesdropper. I will not speak overmuch. I will not commit treason against my ancestors. I will not waste water. I will not do evil. I will not be arrogant. I will not blaspheme the one most high. I will not commit fraud. I will not mistreat children. I will not mistreat animals. I will not defraud temple offerings. I will not plunder the dead.
So does anyone have anything to say about what we read so far? How about this? Does anyone see the like correlation between like the Kemetic science and like other religions that we've been a part of? Like, you know, the other religions?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I can remember because I have this book called Stolen Legacy, and it pretty much like talks about how a lot of, you know, the philosophers of ancient Greek, you know, Greece, how they used to pretty much like go over to Egypt to be taught and learn about these philosophies, learn about science and math and language and everything. And it was a story that stuck out to me that I believe it was Socrates who was like, I guess they were like cool with Alexander the Great, and Alexander the Great like paid him to like kind of eavesdrop on them and get the information from them. And they literally like went over there and like burnt down the temples and took all of the knowledge and stuff. And like, it was crazy. You know what I mean? Just listening to it, it's like a lot of the knowledge that they already had in ancient Kemet, they kind of took and regurgitated it back to, you know, to the world. So it's kind of like, even with like this new age world, this new age way of thinking, it's kind of like you have to go back to the beginning just to even know what's authentic and what's not, because a lot of this new age stuff literally is just what it is. Like, it's kind of the information that we're learning right now. This is stuff that's being regurgitated to us right now by European cultures. The new age philosophy of life and you know, spirituality is so new. It came out in like the 60s. So it's really kind of like we're like relearning the ancient ways of how it's actually supposed to be. So I just thought that was just really, you know, that is just really cool. And it's pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, it is. Well, it was said, well, this was theoretically speaking, I believe me and a friend were having a debate or something like that, but they were saying that Kemet, ancient Kemet, is like the original of, yeah, everything stems from Kemetic science.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just looking at it's a show that comes on Black Magic 365. I can't think of, I don't know, I'll share it in a group, but it had Dr. Last name Smalls, Dr. James Smalls, I think. And he was pretty much like talking about how, you know, like even with spirituality, that's a European term. It's actually supposed to be like African. I think he said science. It's something that has to do with, it's ancient science. That's what it's supposed to be like term, like called. So like, kind of if you even look at the names of the of everybody that we're reading, like those aren't regular names. Like those sound like some scientific names if you think about it. And it just really kind of seems like everything that we're like doing is kind of in connection with science. Like our bodies, how we're trying to rejuvenate our bodies, the elements of earth and water, you know, all of this stuff is all interconnected with everything that's going on around us. So that could explain a lot as to why we're so imbalanced, because all of those elements are imbalanced. And if the Black woman is not balanced, then of course the world's not going to be balanced.
Yeah, well spoken, sis. Well spoken.
Yeah, it's like they just came and pretty much whitewashed everything, which because the names we've heard these names before, and just how they've taken from Kemet, Africa, and rewrote it to Greek philosophy or Greek history, as well as we've heard all these names in the movie The Mummy. We've heard it in um, Amun Ra was in it. We've heard it in there was another movie I saw where I actually heard all of these names. Um, it was a Egyptian. It was a movie. I can't remember, but it had Seth. Seth killed his brother in the
Mhm.
movie. Osiris, Amun Ra was the sun god, and he was trying to keep some beast away. I mean, it's just all of these things that are we already are familiar with the names. Hemotep,
Mhm.
all of them. And it's just interesting how that they're Egyptian names, but we don't know the history of that because
Mhm.
it's just been taken from us. So unless
Mhm.
you dive deep, you're not going to really you're not going to really know. So, yeah.
It's yeah, like today I was looking up the sun, like I said, I'm a child of the sun. And somebody was just like, why would you say that? Like, why would you say you're a child of the sun? So I was just like, really, like, I just thought it was a cool name. And then I looked up who the sun god was. And in Google, there's two different stories. Like the sun god is Ra, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Which is where the name Amen, which you say at the end of a prayer, is from Aman. You know what I'm saying? It's from Aman Ra. But like then in Greek philosophy, they have a whole different name. So it's just
Mhm.
really like you gotta like dig so deep, man, because they took so much away from our ancestors. They took so much away from us. They're still taking away from us because they're using our magic against us, basically. Like if you ever seen that movie, that show that comes on, it's called Lovecraft Country. It's kind of similar to that.
That was good.
Yeah, it really was. It really, really was. And it's just kind of similar. It's similar to that. And then like I wanted to touch on like in when it said in the 42 laws of Ma'at, how it said that we're not supposed to speak curses. So
Mhm.
when it says we're not supposed to speak curses, being that witchcraft is so big right now, y'all, you know what I mean? Is it those curses that we're not supposed to technically say, or is it curse words that we're not
I-
supposed to?
I think he made witchcraft into a fad now. Um, Everything is energetic. What you say it's all energy. Everything that you put out there energetically comes back to you. So if you're saying to someone, even in your own words of expression, say you're calling someone dumb or you're calling someone stupid, you're actually programming them or you're actually putting a curse on that individual by calling them those names.
Mm-hmm. Like when,
And in turn, what'd you say?
like when you know how like these young people say when we laugh or something, we be like, "Man, I'm dead."
Yes.
I tell my son not to say that all the time. Don't say that.
Yes.
Don't say that.
Hmm.
I had to teach him
Yes.
that words are curses. So you have to speak. You have to be cautious of how you speak and what you speak.
Yes, you speak life. As you speak life, it comes,
Right.
that's why a lot of us poverty consciousness, man, I'm broke. I don't have no money. I don't have this. How you're that's what you're choosing by the way you express yourself.
Right.
If you feel like you are what you say that you are. I am that I am. This is part of kinetic science. I am that I am. So if you feel like you're broke, then that is what you become because that is what you're manifesting into your own life.
Right.
That is
Word.
why you speak. That's why you always speak life. So you can curse someone just by telling them they're going to hell. You can curse someone just by saying, you can curse, you can send people negative energy just by, being jealous of them. So we call it cursing or we call it spell magic. All it is just manipulation of energy. You can do everything that somebody is doing with the imagery of a candle verbally, and it still has the same exact effect. It's all with the intent behind it. So, but I noticed something about this as we were going into. I noticed that a lot of this has similarities to Christianity, as you said. It has similarities, like it's like in the Roman, it's the Romans, the Catholics, Islam. These are like archangels. Like all of these, it seems like it's all the same thing. It's just different stories based on what religion or culture you're from, whatever background is.
Yeah, they twisted it around. Like y'all remember like a couple of years ago, like I remember I used to be like real heavy into like conspiracy theories and stuff like that. Like it used to like blow my mind. And remember when everybody was saying how a lot of these artists were all in like the Illuminati and everything. And they made so many references. And I didn't notice this until like a couple of years ago when I had got into into like ancient Kemet. Like they made so many references to ancient Egypt, like ancient Egyptology, in a way of it being like demonic, like the eye of Horus. They was making that seem like that was like a sign of the devil. Even the Baphomet, you know what I mean? Or they were like kind of some way making it seem like it was like demonic and evil when it really wasn't. You know what I mean? These are things that we're reading about right now, but like the media made it seem as if it was something that was like demonic or evil.
To cut us off from it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the like Masonic temples and everything, those were the temples that they were teaching in before they came in and they like burnt everything down. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of crazy how it all just pans out. Like I never knew, like even like my aunt, that was like the stature of law and balance. And if you look at like, if you ever go to court or you look at something that has to do with court and you see the lady holding up the scales, that's my aunt.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of this stuff is actually in our everyday life, but is used in a different kind of way, other than actually bringing balance and peace and harmony and love. Is used to control and to manipulate and to make it seem as if it's something that's negative and demonic. That's crazy. That's wild.
That movie I was talking about is The Gods of Egypt. Movie. But yeah, it had all of them in it. Amun-Ra, Isis, Seth, Osiris. I think it had Bast in it. I know it had Thoth in it. Anubis. I mean, it was. So it's like all of those names you're familiar with, but they just whitewashed it to where it's just it seems make-believe. And I feel like they did that just to cut us off from our heritage, our history, and so that we can't be as powerful as we could be.
Yeah, because you gotta wonder why they all over there all the time. How many times do you really actually see somebody that look like us on National Geographic over in those temples? Like you don't never really see us over there scraping, looking for fossils or, you know what I'm saying, anything like that. Like it's always somebody white that's over there doing the digging, that's doing the commentary and telling the story of what these temples mean and what they represent. I was looking up the Temple of Isis, which is still standing today. I'm talking about with the same the same stones and everything. It's powerful. Like I looked it up, I was just like, wow. And guess who was there? It was a white guy, and they're telling a story and about how it was being built and what it was. And you go in there and you look at those people on the wall, and they look just like you. They look just like me. Brown skin, thick hair. You know what I'm saying? You see that? It's crazy. And we don't
whitewashing them now in Egypt specific. I mean, I've seen stories, excuse me for interjecting, I've seen stories I think it was last semester or last year while I was in school. I had to do research on certain places in Africa, you know, doing a paper. And, you know, I was looking at like their churches, they're actually whitewashing Jesus. They're whitewashing anyone that we can see as someone that's God, so that we can continue to be inferior to them. Like it's like they literally want, it's like if we knew what power we held, we would no longer be underneath their control.
Right.
You're right.
But
like they worship a black Madonna. They worship a black Madonna, and they worship the black Madonna with the baby in the hand. Like you would, and this is like places like Rome. I think somewhere in Rome they worship the black Madonna.
In other countries but our own. When we go to our own, and you see churches, they got white Jesus on the walls, on the glass pane, the glass stained walls is white Jesus.
Yeah. But you got to ask yourself also, like, why is it that Catholics favor Mother Mary more than they favor Jesus? But in Christianity, they favor Jesus more than they favor Mother Mary. So it's like they put the woman on the pedestal in Catholic churches, but in Christianity, they put the masculine on the pedestal. And then overseas, they're worshiping a black Madonna, but then over here, they're worshiping a white Jesus and a white Mother Mary. When all of these are all pretty much come from Isis, Osiris, and Horus. Like that's the original story of all of these religious figures that everybody is praying to. And a lot of Black folks don't know that, or they don't care to know, because they're so used to it being the way that it is that they really can't see it no other way.
Living in defeat. That's what I call it.
Defeat and denial. They don't want to hear it no other way. Like, why would you not want to worship the mother just as much as you worship the father?
Because in the Bible, where we come from, like they demonize the woman. They see her as the Jezebel spirit. Like there are women in the Bible that have done things, but for the most part, they want us to be subservient or less than the male. The male is the dominant in the Bible.
Well, just like they always talk about Eve, they don't talk about Lilith though. You know what I'm saying? At
all. Well, she was the first woman.
She was the first woman, but she stood up to Adam. You know what I mean? And they made her out in Greek mythology to be a demon goddess. Like she was looked at as a bad thing. And matter of fact, even if you, I'm quite sure you do, if you know your birth chart, the Lilith part of our chart is not the good part of our chart.
Our Lilith is our shadow self.
Right.
Our shadow side. Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like the woman, especially the Black woman, women in general, but really the women of color. It's like they've structured us to be below the man. You know what I mean? Like even with this, like I was looking up something about polyamory and polygamy. And some sisters was talking about that the Black woman who believe in polygamy are being conned. But like the man, like why can't a woman have multiple husbands? You know what I mean? Like why can't a woman do that in other countries? And like in Africa, there are countries where women have multiple husbands and it works for them. But to say that in America, they'll look at her like a whore, or she's a slut, or you know what I'm saying, this, that. But like, why is it that the man gets to have his 4 wives who, when he could barely even afford to take care of himself? What are you doing with 4 wives? You're not getting all of them pregnant. You just kind of having them for your own sexual gratification, as opposed to the reason as to why you would even want 4 wives. So it's just kind of like a backwards thing. It's like they took the man and put him in a superior position, but they took the woman and made her the helpmate. And that's it.
They even have female pharaohs, but you don't hear talk of that often.
Sure don't. And
there was about 4 or 5 female pharaohs.
I mean, but even if you know the story of Isis and Osiris, without Isis, there would have never been a Horus. Like there never would have been a resurrection. There never would have been the first case of mummification. That was Isis who went out there and looked up every piece of Osiris and put him back together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, sis. So we going. What we need to do is we got about 3 pages. So we can start reading the next section. Did you want to read, or you want me to read?
I'll read.
Okay.
So we on the 42 laws of Ma'at, right? Page 5.
We're on the basis of Kinetic society.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. Every day of my life, I maintain a healthy body temple as my ancestors did before me, by blessing and consuming the 4 elements to protect body, mind, and spirit from disease. I activate the element of spirit through meditation and Bessie chanting. The element of spirit permeates all the elements for nature, and nature are one. My early ancestors were mostly vegetarians, particularly the priestess and priest. They understood the necessity for purity in performing spiritual work, unlike many spiritual teachers of today. The basic Kemetic diet consists of beans, lentils, peas, barley, millet, nuts, fruits such as dates, melons, and pomegranates, vegetables such as onions, cabbage, and peppers, and healing herbs such as gotu kola, nettle, aloe, garlic, and parsley. And when they were invaded by Asian nomadic shepherds, the Hyksos or Hyksos, more flesh foods entered the diet, thus sowing the seeds of our ultimate deterioration. My ancestors founded their entire society upon the divine spirit nectar, which kept them in a state of continual purification, meditation, wellness, and harmony of the soul, body, and mind. Everything they did was sacred and nectar-driven, from their work to their clothing, from their relationships to their homes, temples, and government. The entire society was directed by the 42 laws of Ma'at, the moral code of ethics that later inspired the 10 Commandments. This belief in the sacredness of life and of all things helped them maintain a thriving nation. Like the Hunzas in the Himalayas today, my people were for thousands of years an unpoliced, peaceful people. Today, their example of a divine civilization offers us a model that could, if put into practice, create global healing. Kemetic spiritual practices. I rise at the hour of Nethet, dawn, to call out in prayer the 42 laws of Ma'at, to spiritually secure my day. Then I place a Ma'at feather in my hair to encourage me to live in right and truth throughout my day, for I am responsible for what I create. My ancient African ancestors taught us how to love ourselves through the divination of the body members, showing us that every part of us is a divine aspect of the creator slash creatress. From our eyes of Hetru, beauty, to our 2 feet of Ptah, stability and strength, this healing ritual, which appears in our African holy book, the Pertmer Inger, the book of coming forth by day from night, misnamed the Egyptian Book of the Dead by Egyptologists, teaches us how to love ourselves more each day so that we can be of greater service in uplifting humanity. My Kemetic ancestors had a powerful way of bringing our spiritual bodies into balance and healing. It was done by giving us sacred words to speak in our meditations to evoke the resurrection of our Ka, soul. My favorite is Nukpa, Amikab, Geman, I'm sorry, I'm butchering this. Geper, Meter, I am that I am, a shining being dwelling in light, and I come from the limbs of the Most High Nectar. I speak these words daily, for they make me feel spiritually confident that I am divine by nature because I am the essence of the creator slash creatress. This fills my soul and makes me complete as the Nectar Hymn, a sacred woman. My people use beauty, art, music, and dance to elevate the spirit. We were the originators of the guitar, the harp, the tambourine, and the drum. Art was seen as a beautiful, holy expression of the divine. For my people believe that beauty and goodness are an expression of Nectar, the divine creator slash creatress dwelling within us. So today we celebrate many ceremonies, rituals, and services artistically for the glory of Nectar. To this day, our music, our voices, and our songs often tame the violent, beastly nature of all who would destroy our oppressed life or oppressed life. Coming home to our true selves. We are the original Lotus people, sweet, beautiful, illuminating, spiritual, and compassionate. The consciousness of one who lives in the Lotus state is Nefer Atum, a being of pure light who evolves out of the mud of challenges, where the lotus seed is fertilized and grows upward to blossom into a wondrous, beautiful soul of light. Osiris, the first lotus master, is depicted on temple walls and papyrus rolls within a lotus growing out of his feet. The priestess were lotus women who wore lotus blossoms in their headbands. Tragically, we lost our way thousands of years ago. But some of us seek to remember, to spiritually and physically grow and blossom by returning to our ancient ways. My mate is one who was touched by the ancestors early in life. His first mentor was his father, James George, a Graveyite like my father, in Tortola, British Virgin Islands. Although he was a Christian minister, he taught and guided his son in secrecy from the age of 5 in our ancient Kemetic legacy. And the seed his father planted in him at such a young age has grown into a sturdy tree. Many years later, after much study and application and meditation, my husband, Sinner Ankra Simia, has been passing on his legacy by initiating many newly awakened Kemites into their happy Nile Valley tradition. I myself am one of the seniors, most devoted students of our ancient path. For years, I kept seeking my spiritual home in many beautiful cultural and spiritual paths from other races of people. In my search, I learned to love and appreciate all forms of spiritual life. Yet I was always a visitor. All those years, I was on the outside looking in while I danced their dance of the spirit chanted their words of praise, draped myself in their garments, and spoken a foreign tongue. But now I have been blessed to find my way back home to self. My unique culture, expression of divinity now lives and has its breath and being within me. I'm no longer a stranger to our ancient ways. I am so fulfilled because I am one with my beginnings. After 20 years, huh? Oh, I thought somebody said something. After 20 years on the path of purification, diligently cleansing my shy karma, I was blessed with a living teacher who would be my chosen mate and my guide on the pathway home. I received my Ankh, my key of life, and was initiated into my legacy by Sen Uri Ankh Ra Samaj Sepka, elder priest and healer in African high culture and spiritual life, who has initiated thousands into the ancient way of the Mayan Kemetic Nubian legacy. I am a returning Esther, shaking off the dust and restoring my dry bones. For my legacy says that Ankh life is eternal. We never die. And since I am part of that eternity, I have been blessed to pick up where I left off thousands of years ago, because knowledge of self is in my DNA, in my melanin. I am blessed because my people were the ones who taught the world about Nectar, the one all creator, creatress, about living and natural healing, and about respect for elders, nature, and community. Even taught humanity astronomy and astrology, how to read the planets and the stars. We were very spiritually attuned before foreigners began to plague our land and our green fields and destroy our spiritual wealth. It is my people, the Earth's elders, who gave the world science, math, the laying of hands, reflexology, art, music, and dance, a legacy of magnificent beauty. So it is with tremendous gratitude that we now realign ourselves with the ancient Mayan way. It brought glory to our past, and it can help us today.
Thank you, sisters. Did anyone have something to say about that? So the Kemet, the ancients of the Kemet is the Mayans. Is that what she was saying? Like, I heard her say the Mayan way. So I know that the Mayans were like one of the oldest who could what did they do? They started to they were above their time. They were like above their time before that area was completely destroyed.
But
the people of Atlantis, huh?
Yeah, I heard about that too. What I'm hoping that I see in this book is also how I wonder if she'll reference the fact of the people that were already here on this earth, like not on this earth, but on this mass right here that we call the United States of America. Because a lot of us were already here before slaves came over here. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to know, how did they get over here? Like, were they also Kemets? Were they also, people, from Kemet that just navigated over into a new landmass and started civilization over here? Because that was always one thing that kind of confused me a little bit, because I learned about like ancient Kemet some years ago, but then like after that I got this book called They Were Here Before Columbus.
Oh yeah.
So
The
it's
indigenous people were original Africans, weren't they? I mean, they originally came from there. Columbus, he was the one who documented everything.
is that it?
Like he documented, but there was plenty of folks that were already here.
Right.
And the original, and initially, everything was one. It was pieces of the world that broke off, and that's how we have the continents.
Ah,
So
okay.
it was people all throughout the world. And then, as evolution came, and things began to,
Flood.
volcanoes erupting and floods and stuff, then the planet began to separate itself. And that's how you have, America all the way over here, and Argentina all the way down, that type of stuff.
Yeah, because like if you look at like some of the old maps, they look so different. Like I even heard a theory that the map could literally be upside down. The one that we look at on a regular basis, that Africa is actually on top as opposed to at the bottom. But what they did is they flipped it. So it'll seem as if Europe will be at the top of the map, meaning superiority over everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just it's so mind-boggling how everything just has been completely switched over. It's just crazy. It's a lot to take in. It really is. So I'm yeah, it's a little deep.
Maybe she will. Maybe some more things will be revealed with, the deeper we get into this, but
yeah.
we'll
Well,
see.
read it next.
Yeah, I'm gonna read next. A brief overview of pre-dynastic Kemet, early Egypt, our story, by Heru Ankh Ra Smaj. We Kemites come into consciousness today. Wait a minute. We Kemites coming into consciousness today hold in our ancestral memory a vision of the origins of Kemetic, ancient Nubian, Egyptian high culture, very different from that of modern Egyptology. One favorite Egyptology, oh Lord have mercy, Egyptological spin is the notion that Stone Age hunters fleeing a Nordic ice age wound up in the then fertile Sahara. Okay. When it dried up, they migrated to the lush Nile Delta to become the founders of science, government, philosophy, religion, astronomy, architecture, and medicine. Another favorite Egyptological belief is that the Egyptian people picked up the art of agriculture from the early Neolithic farmers of Mesopotamia. Another era of Egyptologists' irritating tendency to speak of African and Egyptian cultures as if they are two separate entities. Sadly, this way of thinking seems endemic in the cycles of modern Egyptology. These scholars remain uncomfortable with anything that reveals genius coming from a central equatorial African source. Hence, terms such as Ice Age hunters and Mesopotamian farmers brainstain humanity into accepting the Egyptological lie of primordial northern origin to account for the flowing of the Hopi Nile Valley civilization. But the black bones at Olduvai Gorge in Kenya that George Leakey leaked out the primordial bones of Lucky in the Afar regions of Kush, Ethiopia, and those in the Motopa, South Africa, do not lie. Neither do the richly melanated skins of the Sahu, so-called mummies, found in the valleys of the kings and the valleys of the queens. Our Anu Twa ancestors, now insultingly labeled Gimmies, were the originators of pre-dynastic Kemetic civilization and built the holy city of Anu, biblical on Greek Heliopolis. These names Anu later migrated to become the Anu of Japan and the Ta'anu, Tano of the Western Indies. Al-halted African Nubian civilization existed from four unfolded millennia before the inhabitants of the northern zone were ever heard of. And when the northerners, okay, excuse me, I saw something pop up. And when the northerners finally succeeded in conquering the African Nubians, blameless ones, whether Shambasis, the Persians, 525 BCE, the Greek Alexandria, 330 BCE, or the Romans, Antony and Caesar, 30 BCE. They lacked the cultural and spiritual astuteness of sustaining the Ma'ashin righteous principles that made Kemetic civilization so lasting and great. If one honestly seeks to learn the originators of Kemetic culture and civilization, it is to the oral history and oldest writings of the Kemetites themselves that one must go. In the section of the book of the coming forth by day from night, the so-called Egyptian Book of the Dead, in the pyramid text and in the coffin text, my ancestors continuously refer to a star-born origin. The kings and queens who sat on the lion's throne of the hero Horus in the Napi, Nile Valley, called themselves Sarah, son of the sun, and the Satra, daughter of the sun, respectively. Our first earth mother, Isis, was born from the star SPDT, called Cyrus, or Sirius. Our first earth father, Azra, Osiris, was born in the constellation of Sa, or Orion. We Africans were star trekkers. Excuse me. Star trekkers untold thousands of years before Captain Kirk's Star Trek. Listen to Mut Hetep, Mother Peace, a queen of the 5th dynasty, and a quote from her own papyrus, British Museum, 10,010, sheet 3. I have come forth from between the thighs of divinity, Neter. I have been conceived by Sekhmet, and I have been brought forth at the doors of Star Cyrus, the foremost, who is long of strides along the celestial path of the ray day after day. Listen to another Kemite from the Sesh papyrus at Paris. I rise like a mighty star in the star world. Let me journey through it like the son of Ra. I am Heru, hair of Asa. I have received his Nim's crown in the star world. To this very day, the Dogos people of Malai, who trace their beginnings to the Hapi Nile Valley, still celebrate the orbital cycles of Sirius B around Sirius A. They call Sirius B Potolo, the seed star. Wow. Modern Egyptologists such as Martin Bernal, the author of Black Athena, the Afro-Asiatic roots of classical civilization, now admits that the people who created the early Egyptian civilization flowed from the source of the river Hapi in Kush, Ethiopia, and Kinset, Nubian, Sudan, because southern origins are unmistakably Black and African, some European Egyptologists have held that Egypt is in the Middle East. That Egypt is part of the entire African continent is evident to all except the most voluntarily blind. Any researchers who attempt to present a brief outline of the Kemetic history is confronted by massive Lord have mercy, this word, Egyptologian gobbledygook of foreign names and conflicting timelines, dynasties, and data. However, they all seem to toe the line of a first dynastic beginning at 3100 BCE. One who graduates out of the Egyptology to embrace chematology soon discovers, though, that the Kemetic mind deals with past, present, and future simultaneously. The story of Kemet is a cyclical one. As the Western world enters the third millennium, anyone of Kemetic consciousness who needs to celebrate dates have countless beginnings to choose from. In 10,500 BCE, the expedition Nubian Kemites of the Happy Nile Valley unified the building Haru Ahmet, the Sphinx, to honor Sekhmet, the lioness cosmic mother healer who has rid the land of the enemies of Ma'at. The Isfishians, historically called Sekshasu, Hyksos, nomadic shepherds, worshippers of Seth, Neter, of the desert and storms. In 4240 BCE, the Haru king, the Muru, known as Egyptologists as the Pharaoh Narmers or Nims, reinstituted a lost unity and declared the Smai unification of Tawi, the two regions, the Kemetic and Kinset, Egypt and Nubian Kush. In the year 2000, if we choose the provable date of the age of Leo beginning 10,500 BCE, we would be at the halfway mark of our 13th millennium. The 12,500 PH post-Hu, the Sphinx. If we choose Nerus 4240 BCE, the beginning of the age of Taurus, we are at 1/4 mark of our seventh millennium since the reunification Sma Tawi by Nurmru, excuse me. This would be 6240 ST, Sma Tawi. If we choose the date from Kings to Tut, these words, just I know I butcher them. It would be 3373 SA since Ant Ra. How long has Kemites been on the planet Earth? Our tradition says from the first times, so we are not confused by conjectured Egyptological dates. We look at our story to gather the lessons of past eras so that we may correct them. But most important, we gather the enduring values of Ma'at, righteous healing with truth, light, and order, that we may live them and practice them. The evidence of the Kemetic glory and downfall has been captured on temple walls and Sesh papyrus. Kemet rose and fell because of no civilization can escape the laws of cycles. What goes around comes around. What goes up comes down to rise again. People ask, if the ancient Egyptians were so great, how or why did they fall? Just let them reflect and meditate on the laws of cycles. Some of the signs of the pending fall of the glory are mirrored on the walls of the killings of animals for food and sacrifice, and in the killings of human in war. The walls are replete with the stories of the glorious, peaceful civilization forced to make chariots, which they did not invent to defend themselves from the northern Asiatic and southern is sufficient. You know what I meant. Excuse me, y'all. Who worked against the principles of Ma'at, order, righteousness, and reciprocity. We focus on times of Smai Tawi, unity, as our model because because where there is unity, there is healing taking place. Today, humanity is disunified, therefore sick with violence, pestilence, and war. It must be healed. The rebirth of the Smatwa Nubian Kemetic paradigm is upon us. Once we overcome the Egyptological preoccupation of dates and dynastics, then all humanity can have access to the Smatwa, healing thyself, knowing thyself, love thyself, be thyself, Ma'aishan way of ascension and renaissance. O Kemet, what historical lies have been told of you through our present day distorted names Egypt? O Nubian Cushites, Kemetic ancestors. Western man is claiming that he came from the north to build the pyramids with bricks and straw, thanks to Hollywood. And Baxter is Nefertiti, and Yul Brynner is Ramses. Hollywood's Stargate has desecrated Ra as an epicene demon, and the mummy's curse has been unleashed, and in the sorry efforts to sow doubt and fear among people, all of whom need my truth, righteousness, and fairness in their lives. But they will fail to know it because Ma'at is a principle hidden behind the gates of cosmic divine high culture, whose doors are supposed to remain sealed by the intended of the word sound Egypt. The biblical curses against Egypt could scare most people away from discovering the glittering heritage that awaits their claim. For an even older version of our creation story, one can examine the Shabaka stone, now preserved in the British Museum in London, England. It tells us that Ptah Sekhmet, great mother, father, creator, became the first ruler god of the Kemitans, excuse me, Twa and Sekhmet established the Hasupu, gnomes, the states or administrative divisions of the country, and constructed the temples and shrines. They fashioned the status and figurines of the Neteru and put them in their places. Egyptologists refer to this time as the rule of the gods. The Shabaka stone also refers to the drowning of Osiris and his resuscitation by his wife Isis and her sister Nephthys. The lives of the citizens of Kemet were centered around the temple, much like the state capital or city walls of modern times. Reverence for the divine permeated all aspects of life in Kemet. The culture was spiritual, not religious. Religion is modern, where spiritual is primordial. The very word religion is drawn from the Latin word religare or religio, which means to tie back or to tie again. Since the Kemetites saw their lives as intrinsically connected to divinity, there is no reason to be tied. It has those who saw themselves as alienated from the divine, who invented religion and its attendant competitive dogmas to tie them fast to their spiritual visions. Did anybody else want to read? Or you want me to finish it up? It's a little bit less than half a page.
I can read.
Okay.
Kinetic consciousness perceives itself as surrounded, enveloped, saturated, nurtured, and immersed in divinity. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. In divinity, like the fish in the ocean. Kemites had no need to invent religion. Spiritual immersion was the mode of existence. The view empowered our Kemetic ancestors. This view, I'm sorry. They entertained no doctrine of salvation by proxy. Mayat demands personal responsibility and accountability. There is no vicarious atonement. When you live in Mayat, every day is Judgment Day. Another fatal error of Egyptology is the use of the terms gods and goddesses to describe the attributes, aspects, and differentiation of Natar divinity. Western concepts of divinity give us an objective male God up in heaven somewhere ruling over a hierarchy of all male angels and little boy cherubs. This will never do for the Kemite. From the beginning, Kemetic cosmology was myadical, balanced. It taught of Netar and mother, father, creator, creatress. The Netaru, divine attributes, were likewise feminine and masculine. For example, Ptah, Sekhmet, Amin Ra, Mut, Tehuti, Mayat, Ast, and Asar. This way of viewing the divine that filtered down into everyday life was Mayat triarchal, and women enjoyed a measure of equality unduplicated in these so-called modern times. The Greeks and Romans were appalled at the level of freedom of Kemetic women who could own property and function as queens, high priestess, and living oracles. The lineage of kings was transmitted through the mother as was inheritance. The myatocracy, righteous government of the ancient Kemites eclipsed the democracy of modern times, whose hallmark has been the suppression and oppression of women, coupled with a pervasive undercurrent of racism. In order to begin to understand the spirituality of the ancient Kemites, it is important to open your consciousness and familiarize yourself with the Kemetic cosmological legacy that created the democracy. If you pray for guidance and you experience the gateways of initiation, you will discover that your Kemetic ancestors always knew. What your Kemetic ancestors always knew, that your so-called spiritual life and your normal life are truly one. Do you want me to do the Nubian spiritual energies?
What did you say?
Do you want me to do the Netaru ancient Kemetic Nubian spiritual energies?
You can if you want to. I believe that these are I believe this is like the glossary, the definition, like who they are.
Okay.
That we've already read so far, but it might be important for us. So yes, I would say.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say no.
We've all been butchering these names.
Okay. Asar, Osiris, husband of Ast, resurrection, reconstitution, renewal of life. Ast, Iris, mother of Haru, great mother Africa spirit, culture bringer, healer. Aten Ra, son, element of fire, revealed light of the hidden sun, Ra. Bast, Bastet, cat, masked sistrum bearer, who disperses adverse energy. Best, principle of expansion, guardian of dance. Geb, element of earth, consort of Nut, father of Osiris. Happy, River Nile, guardian of lungs, Kemite, name of Aquarius. Haru, Horus, sacred warrior of light and victory, the faculty of will. Heteru, Hathor, divine love, beauty, protection, and nurturing. Hemotep, Imhotep, sacred architect, physician, healer, and philosopher. Mayat, truth, harmony, balance, law, righteousness, sobriety, propriety, cosmic order. Mesh Connect, Mesh Kent, birth, rebirth, guardian of the womb, and the birthing bricks. Birthing bricks, good Lord. Mut, Eye of Ra, consort of Amun Ra, the personal mother principle. Nephet, Nephthys, sister of Iris, protectress. Midwife, guardian of breath. Nefer, Atum, highest ascension, unlimited potential, the Kemite atom. Neth, or Neith, weaver, warrior, defender. Nu, element of water. Noon, primordial waters. Nut, sky, consort of Geb, great cosmic sky mother, grandmother of all gateways and rebirth. Ptah, creativity, guardian of craftspeople. Renenet, name giver, guardian of good fortune. Renetet, Renutet, sacred cobra, nutrition, harvest. Sekhmet, consort of Ptah, lioness, patron of healing, of healers. Selket, protector of organs of regeneration, guardian of small intestines. Seshet, consort of Tahuti, patroness of writing, architecture. Seth, Osiris's brother, consort of Nephet, strength, lord of desert, darkness, storms, observer. Shu, element of air, guardian of the winds, consort of Nefnu. Ta'ert, I don't know. Great Earth Mother. Tefnut, guardian of water and moisture. Tehuti, Thoth, moon, divine intelligence, lord of time, inventor of writing, patrons of scribes. Glossary of ancient Kemetic terms. Ankh, symbol of life, key of eternity and unity. Ari Ankh-Ka, Egyptian poses of power, predates yoga. Arit and Aritu, chakra and chakras, subtle body temples, temple energy centers. Hashi or Hasai, praise chants, mantras. Nubi sonics. Hetepu, peace unto you. Also altar offerings, gift. Hetep, peace, calm, tranquility offerings. Ka, soul. Kamet, calm, Kem, ancient Egypt. Kapira, transformation, evolution, metamorphosis. Metu, Natir, holographic language, words divine, literally the words of God. Mut, mother. Natir, the all one, divine mother, father, creator, creatress. Hetrit, Hemt, sacred woman, Netaru, sacred aspects of Netar, the creator, creatress, such as As, Mayat, Sekhmet, Pert M. Haru M. Gur, the book of coming forth by day from night, Egyptian book of the dead, Sened, health, soundness, wellness, Shesh, papyrus, Shai, karma, destiny, Smatawa, unity of the double regions, Sanatu, physicians, Tuak, Tuatu, thank you, Tuad Nitter, praise divine.
Okay.
Do you all have the prayer for the woman
Yes.
woman verse?
Mm-hmm. You want me to read that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Prayer of the womb verse. Womb-verse. I call upon the divine creator, creatress, to protect my womb and the wombs of our daughters. Heal our wombs from all wickedness. From this day forward, we must speak up for and guard our wombs with all inner power as we call on the ancient African spirit, Meshkanet, African guardian, angel of the sacred womb. I call upon the African spirit of Ma'at for womb balance and wellness. I call upon the spirit of Het Haru within me to demonstrate divine love of my womb and absolute harmony. I call upon the spirit Tehuti within me so that I may make wise decisions on behalf of my womb's restoration. I call upon As, the great African mother spirit within me, to inspire the continuous nurturing of my sacred womb. I affirm that all abuse and desecration of the womb are to be no more. My womb speaks and commands peace upon the earth and throughout the womb-universe. Through the healing of my womb, all wars shall cease. Through the healing of my womb, all men and women shall be at peace. Earth Mother, because of the peace within my womb, tidal waves, hurricanes, tornadoes, volcanoes, volcanic eruptions, floods, and earthquakes shall cease. According to my womb, there will be peace, for it is my womb that is the spiritual coordinator of all activity on this sacred earth and all the worlds within the womb-universe. Women, guard your womb and guard it well, so wickedness will no longer exist. According to my womb, peace.
Peace. Peace.
Whew. That was a mouthful.
So anyone would like to share before we leave? That was deep. Like the stuff that was said, it was really deep.
Yeah.
That
Definitely was. Oof. That was a lot.
I mean, aside from butchering the names, it's like I had to stop. I was like, actually, like, what? This is really like it was like registering. Like as I was reading it, it was like I was comprehending it. It was like, wow, really? This is really what's going on. But yeah, it's deep.
It is. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to understand. And it's a lot of work that I got to do.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
For real. It really is. Like,
and it's so important for everybody else, for our daughters, for our sons even. It's deep. It goes deeper than what I originally thought it did.
It's just kind of crazy how so much of stuff from ancient Egypt is in Europe. Like,
I thought about that too.
Why would that be in the British Museum? You know.
Have you ladies ever heard of the Council of Nicaea?
Oh yeah. With Constantine. Man,
Yes.
Constantine was out there killing everybody, wife, brother, kids. It was
So
crazy.
I was listening to my reading, and I'm at work, so I couldn't really interact. My client just literally went to sleep. So I'm listening, and I'm filled with a bunch of emotions.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up in church. I always knew that there was a higher power. When I got my 20s, I had started going to church. I was in there for like 12 years. And some things happened, and I had questions that nobody could answer because I'm like, some things just don't make sense. It's not adding up. Something happened at the church, and I ended up leaving, but it took me on this other journey where I started exploring different quote unquote religions and spirituality, and it was scary because someone mentioned earlier about witchcraft, and I was like, I look at it like some people jump on a bandwagon because it's trending.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I hear so much about Orishas, and it's like I've been in church, I played the fool, I was conditioned, and I'm deprogramming myself, and I'm hearing all this stuff, and I'm like, what do I do now? It's
It's
Fact.
gonna take us on a journey, that's for sure. It's
yes.
me.
It's like it just, and really it feel like it just blew up like over the last year. Like it's like it just kind of came out of nowhere, you know. Like I didn't really know much about the Yoruba, you know, the Yoruba religion. I just learned about it, you know what I mean? And
Right.
it's like now everybody's like, oh well, I'm a child of Oshun, and you know, and
Yeah.
I feel like I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, what was you gonna say?
I feel like we've come into like a mass awakening, like just Black people in general. I feel like we just awoken to so much, but it's like still a lot of people, it's like they see something on social media and it's like, okay, let's grab that. But they have, it's like for the most part, they don't dive deep. Like I couldn't even claim to be an Orisha or even go through that without actually finding it. It's not something you can read in a book, you know? And it's like a lot of people just see what they see on social media or this and that, but you have to really have a teacher, somebody that's going to help you dive deep into this, you know? And I've been looking for a guide for, I don't know how, I was raised Jehovah's Witness. And
hard to find.
I kind of walked away from that, and my whole family is. I've always been like that black sheep of the family. You know how that is. But I've been looking for a guide, you know, somebody to, you know what, this is start on step 1 and take that journey versus coming in on step 10 or 20 or 30. And that's why I appreciate this, because I heard the word Kemet for the first time maybe about 2 years ago. And how I heard about it is there was a tattoo on this lady's arm at the tattoo parlor. And it was something that was scary. It just looked, I'm like, why the heck would she have that on there? And it was like a bull head, like a person with a bull head and an ankh and this, and like a staff and things. And I'm looking at it, and she told me who it was. I really forgot who it was, but it scared me until I really went and tried to do research on it. There's no research out there on Kemet or Kemetic principles. It's like a little bit here and there, but to really go into it, I haven't found it. And so that's why I really appreciate this when I opened this book and saw that it kind of takes you back through that.
it brought me into like ancient Kemet was Hidden Colors. I ain't gonna lie. Like
Yes.
I never saw nothing like that ever in my life. Like, you know, my family is religious. My brother is with the Nation of Islam. So, you know what I mean? I learned a lot just by going to the mosque. You know what I mean? I didn't dive all the way in there, but I liked what they was talking about because it was nothing that was being discussed in church. I used to, you know, I done been baptized and went to church and everything. My sister's a minister, my aunties, all of them is all into that. And I was always different. You know what I'm saying? Like I just always had questions. Like I always wanted to know more. Like, why is this? Why is that? You know what I mean? But nobody could ever give me the answers. I got ghosted by the pastor at a church I was going to. I was supposed to meet with him and he stood me up. You know what I mean? Because I had questions. And I had ran across Hidden Colors. And I'm not lying. It blew my mind. And I started listening to this man named Ray Higgins. He's a minister out there in Atlanta. He was once in the church, like he was a pastor, and he left the church, and he was doing like all of these services where he was like teaching about, you know, certain things that had to do with ancient Kemet. And then I seen this. I just dug in deep. This documentary called Ethos, which kind of broke down some things. So the information's out there, but you really ain't gonna get as much as you would want to get it said outside of a book. Like you literally gotta go buy a book in order to really get like the information necessary to even really be able to tap into it. And when it comes to like this witchcraft and everything and spirituality, like I'm all for it, you know what I mean? I just feel like now it's so trendy right now. Like you don't even know, I don't even know if people even be knowing what they be tapping into. You know what I mean? And they got something on TikTok right now called Witch Talk. And like I read tarot. When I first started, I was doing it. I was on TikTok all the time reading tarot. But then like I started like skimming through it and I was like seeing people doing spells and shit on there, like creating spells, showing people how to do spells. And I was just like, I don't know if I want to be a part of this community. So I ain't been on TikTok. I ain't been on TikTok
without a teacher. I've had this in my Audible for about a year or so now. And I listened to some of it, but I was like, I have to get the book so that I can actually see it. But it's the Ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead.
Yeah, they got. Do you know that they sell it on Amazon?
I have it. I mean, I have to get the book, but I've had this for literally about a year, a little over a year.
Yeah, they sell. I was on there looking for the Book of Thought, and it's the Emerald tablets. And it's really hard to find the authentic version because there's so many remixes. Like, so you really don't know. Like, I'm willing to bet like probably the most authentic version of it is gonna either cost you a couple $100, or you're gonna low key have to go to. They got it in Britain somewhere or somewhere in Europe. You know what I'm saying? Like real talk. Like in a. I mean, like it's very possible because they don't want people in America to know this stuff. You know what I mean? They want us to continuously be distracted by certain things that we really ain't got no control over. Honestly, I don't got no control over what's going on over there in that war. I don't. I have no control over it.
But you just said something. You know, they want us distracted, and they're doing a good job at it. But the sad part about it, is like you said earlier, people don't witch talk and all that. Like you tapping into something that you don't have no clue what you tapping into, and you playing with people's lives and your own. You know what I mean? No, it's not a game. And for me, it makes me. I have trust issues because I take it serious. I remember when I was a kid, I used to see, and I still see stuff. I just told my cousin, we had a conversation, like, do you remember when we were kids on the 3rd floor? I said, I don't know if y'all ever seen it, but every night there was 2 horses that used to come out the wall, a black one and a white one. As a kid, I seen stuff. As an adult, I still see stuff. So I take that spiritual side serious.
Yeah.
And when people are out here, like, teaching people how to do spells, like, come on, quit playing. That's not a joke. It's not okay.
It's
You know
not.
what I mean? And,
What goes
and
around
it's
comes around.
frustrating because I'm on this journey trying to learn, but I have trust issues, and then people's intentions mean everything. You don't have to know everything, but your intentions behind it
Yes.
need to be right.
Yeah,
Yes.
they really do.
So you
Like,
can get
very
some.
well- I apologize. In some cases, you don't even, all candles is an image. That's all it is. It's an outward, that's an outward depiction of where your energy is going.
Mm-hmm.
All you got to do is think about a person and their whole life being destroyed, and that's sending all that energy to them.
Oh yeah.
All you got to think is I hate you and I hope your life crumbles into dust, and then they will start, and then they under spiritual attack.
And that's it. And it's terrible. For real. And then the thing about it is, you're feeling some of these beefs, these spiritual beefs, be over something petty. Like, I just seen somebody on Facebook the other day, like, oh, don't come for me if I ain't send for you, because I got my candle and my jar and my honey. And I'm like, are you serious?
Man, they
So
think
you
it's
be
a joke. They think it's a joke, man. Like you got women out here that's talking about that's taking a man's hair and making bracelets and putting it on their wrist. These young girls, they talking about how can I do blood magic and
Yes.
all
Yes.
kinds of stuff. I was in a group, you know what I mean? Like, they got like a lot of little groups for like witchcraft and black spiritualists and all of that, sorcerers and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I left them. I had to leave them because it was starting to get to the point where you had people on there like, oh, well, I put somebody in a jar, but now it's backfiring on me. How could I stop this? And I'm talking about, you had folks on there going in on these people. They was like cussing these folks out. Like, you don't know what the hell you doing, girl. Do you
Right.
know that any type of bad negative spell that you put out there towards somebody, it's gonna come back to you threefold? You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I would rather, like, I don't want to dap into nothing that I don't know nothing about without having somebody who knows it. You know what I'm saying? Who could school me through it. You know what I mean? Because we all have the ability to get
Queen Afua.
We all have the ability to do some things if we put our minds to it. But the fact is that the wrong magic could get in the wrong hands. And that's what happened when ancient Rome came over there and took all of that stuff that they ain't had any business doing. Like, even when it comes to yoga, how did yoga get to India? You know what I'm saying? Like these are certain things you gotta want. For it. They over there, but see, the thing about is that, like, in India, they're so deep, they're doing what we probably should be doing in Africa. Like, they got a vegetarian diet. You know what I'm saying? They're very much so into making sure that they meditate and they mantras and they chakras. And
I gotta go. Sorry.
No, you're fine. But it's just
have a good night.
You too.
You too.
It's just like the continent right now is so divided that you don't even really know. It's so much stuff that we just don't know here on this in this country. Like, we just don't know, and we're just like really coming awaken to it. So this group right here, yeah, we on the road to something real powerful, like very powerful.
Yes, I appreciate. One thing is, like, I pay attention to people's energy, and everybody's transparent. I don't feel any kind of bad intention, any fake, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I'm looking for. I need that sisterhood, because you see it all on Facebook, TikTok, everybody got this click, that click. And it's like, you don't know what you playing with. You know, 2 summers ago, my grandson, got hit by a car.
Mm.
But before he got hit by a car, a year before he got hit, I seen it. I was laying in my bed and I seen it. I seen exactly what happened. I told my daughter, I told everybody in my house. So when he got hit, I went to him and I remember hearing, put one hand to the earth and the other hand on him. He's okay. And I did that. And I just spoke life into him. My husband had to do CPR. He was 5 at the time. So fast forward, the young lady who hit him, she was young. She didn't have her driver's license. Her mom came down tripping, like, I don't care about your grandson and this and that. And I wanted to snap on her because I'm like, he's a baby. And for you to say that, and I remember saying, do not make me go to God on you. And I was like, wait, hold up, because you don't like that. I said, baby, I ain't even got to do that because we all create our own karma. You have a good one. You know what I mean? Because I had to be careful because I know this tongue got power. But I also don't like the cliches either. You know, I'm a child of God. I used to hate that because it's like, oh, you the only one that's cool with God, and God don't like everybody else is that kid, and you the one that's cool. So I have to be careful with that. But I'm like, yeah, we create our own karma. I ain't got to curse nobody. They girl, that's not my thing. You know.
Only thing that you do is pray up and keep yourself protected. That's all you gotta do. Pray up and keep yourself protected.
Yes. You hear all these will do this and put this. Somebody jumped in my inbox one time and was like, I want to do a reading for you. I feel like there's a jealousy energy around you. And I'm like, yeah, see, and I can't let everybody in my energy space either.
No, like as somebody that you know what I'm saying, that does read tarot, like even with that, you can't have everybody read for you. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what their energy is. So you know what I'm saying? Right. If they're tapping into if they're tapping into an energy and then their energy is trashy, you know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, it's going to come off into whatever it is that they're trying to tell you. Like when I first started learning how to do tarot, I was always listening to so many different readers just to, you know what I'm saying, kind of tap into that energy, but it started affecting what I had going on in my own life. And I didn't know why. I was like, yo, like, why do I feel like this? And then as I started reading, I started realizing that as we're doing this, we're making ourselves literally open to take in the energies of other people. So if you got something going on in your personal life right now, and you're doing a reading for me, and I'm opening myself up to receiving whatever it is that you're telling me, I could take on the energy of what you got going on along with whatever entity that you're tapping into.
Right.
It's just really kind of like having heavy protection. You gotta stay protected. You know what I mean? Like even with us reading this, we gotta constantly stay protected because we are like opening ourselves up to some new knowledge that it may be a little higher than we may be used to. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Right. That's why I you know, when I was talking to Moonchild, you know, I made it clear. I said, you know, it's important for us to start off with a prayer. You start off with a prayer so that it can protect us through any energy that may be trying to attack us just in our own, you know, in the sisterhood. It's important.
Yeah. Especially when we get our altars up.
So I'm working on mine.
Yeah, and you know, I was looking in the book, like she has some names up in there. I don't know those people. Like that she talking about, like, are we supposed to, I don't know. I guess that's gonna be the next chapter. But there's some names in there that she want us to tap in with, and I don't know these energies. Y'all will see when y'all read it. I just kind of skim through it and look to see what was next on the list. Because I'm buying stuff like little by little. Like I'm gonna get my salt and everything this week, along with the stuff that I need for my altar. Because I think we gotta get a whole lot of salt.
Get it from the Dollar Tree. You can
So
get
I
the-
have a question.
I'm listening.
About ancestor altars, because I don't know a lot of my family history.
And I also read that you got to be careful with what ancestor that you put on your altar, because all your ancestors are not good people. That's what that's what I've heard.
That's true. That's true. Some of your ancestors may actually be the ones who curse you. You know, you never know.
Facts.
So the ones that you know that you hold close, your grandparents, your mom, the close ones like me, my brother, that type of, you keep those ancestors, you keep those ancestors close.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's what I was thinking. Because I'm like, there's some people in my family that I've never met, so I don't want to tap into that energy.
Yeah.
I don't know I never met them.
Yes, understood. All right, sisters, we're gonna have to cut this. This has been over 2 hours.
I'm tired. I'm about to go to bed. My cats is looking at me. My cat's name is Isis and Osiris. So they over here looking at me like, okay, it's time to go to bed, right? I hear you over there talking about me. I hear you over there talking about me. You know it's time to go to bed, right?
Well, you ladies have a good night.
You as well. You as well. Y'all be safe this evening. I'll see y'all next Sunday.
All right.
See you next Sunday. Y'all have a good one. Take care. Have a good night.
You
as
too.
well.